Blaine High School has a school improvement plan. This is a plan that is fleshed out by the Teacher Leadership Committee. And one of those components that we are aiming for in 24-25 is being more intentional with differentiated instruction. Maybe that's leveraging AI tools. Maybe it's leveraging tools that we're already familiar with, like Pear Deck, for example. So we can do that by designing instruction like what we're going to do here as a part of this FlexPD offering. In the link you'll find, in the slide notes rather, you will see a link to the SIP plan. Let me give you some historical experience that I have with differentiated instruction. I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't start differentiating true instruction until later in my career, probably 7 or 8 years in, and really found a project that a colleague and I, former colleague and I, Jody, who taught the same class during the same period, to make differentiation even more manageable. One of the barriers that people see immediately is, Daryl, I feel like I'm designing multiple lessons within the same section. Yeah, that is true. However, if you happen to be able to cooperate in a larger group, or you know that you have sections that are going to have the same tricky lessons, the same priority benchmarks and standards that students are going to trip up on, maybe we share that work together and get a chance to explore how we might enrich curriculum or how we might support all learners in this context. So on this sheet here, on this slide, you'll notice that third hour, Jody and I both taught the same class. So we took our 30 students and really became our combined 60 students. And if we were going to uncover content with students for, let's say, 10 days in a unit, we would then decide we're going to focus our attention on which students we see as mastery students, those that are already proficient in those learning targets, and other students who maybe are rehearsal students, students that need a second scoop of learning. So in the end, after the first 3 days, we did a formative assessment based on our first 3 days of instruction, and that really shaped how we were going to move forward with those sections. So now some of my students then are in Jody's class, and some of Jody's students are in mine, which is a great opportunity just to get to know more kids. This is a chance to really feel like I'm a facilitator of learning more so than a curriculum deliverer, but it's a chance for kids to engage in content with a different instructor, which feels good to be able to make even more connections in a large building like I was. So basically what we found is that our results were statistically significant. In contrast, the control group and the treatment group had statistically significant differences in outcomes based on proficiency between the rehearsal and mastery students. That's saying that both mastery and rehearsal groups were making more progress that was statistically significant in terms of proficiency than the other group that was not. And that was based on schedule. It wasn't necessarily that we were trying to prevent that treatment, but it just happened to play out in the schedule that way.